Hello GDQ staff, my name is JTB and this is my submission video for Summer Games Done Quick 2018. This is Resident Evil 4, as you can tell. The category that I'm running is a new game professional mode. So what this is essentially is, for a new game, we only start with the weapons that the game initially gives you on your first playthrough. And then professional difficulty sets the difficulty of the game at its highest and keeps it locked there throughout the entire game. Normally there's a difficulty adjustment depending on how well or bad you're doing throughout the game, but we're not going to be seeing that in this run itself. Another important thing to note is that I'm playing on the Steam version, which has an option for 60 FPS. Which makes the run a little bit more difficult, in that enemies are a lot quicker to react to you. There's out of bounds that you're not able to do that you normally would do in other versions. And certain enemies take a little bit more damage, or a little bit less damage, and require different approaches to get through. So I'll note those differences throughout the run itself. And it's important to know there's like a million things to talk about in this game. Literally every single room I could probably go on for at least like an hour or so, just like enemy movement, like out of bounds stuff in every room. So it'll be a little bit difficult to talk about all of this in a run itself. Just by myself, but should this get into SGDQ, we'll have a couch full of people able to do commentary, so that way I can focus on the run itself. So we've already gone through a little bit of this game already. A lot of things I could have talked about, but like I said, this game moves so fast that it's impossible to cover every little thing at once. The previous area, we had to kill X amount of enemies to trigger a cutscene to get to the next area, which we use 2 grenades we find early on to make sure we kill the exact amount. A little bit of a lag there. We have another little cool skip right here if I nail it. Okay, cool, I got it. So what that is called a tree skip. During that QTE, there's a period of time that you're able to hit the designated buttons in order to dodge the boulder and continue on. But if you actually hold on to it and wait until the very last possible, like half second or so, to do the dodge, you end up dodging and clipping through this tree at the very end, which puts you in front of the tree as opposed to behind it normally. It only saves like a second or so, and it's really, you know, not imperative to get, but it's still kind of a cool little time save that we get. So this game's divided up into different chapters, and then each chapter has like sub chapters as well. That was 1-1, now we're on to 1-2. Chapter 1 and 2 take place into the village segment of this game. Each segment of the game kind of has like different difficulty to it. The village, I'd say, is the most reset chapter, the 2 most reset chapters in the game, just because the high level of execution needed to get through the village without any issues, as well as the lack of safety items. Generally only carry 1 first aid spray throughout the entire village, so pretty much if you get hit more than once, then it's usually warranting a reset. So this area, we just have to traverse it and get 2 key items. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. So like I said, execution is a big part of the first 2 chapters. There's also an element of RNG, especially with the boss of chapter 1, which we'll see kind of shortly. But yeah, like I said, the biggest thing is just the lack of a safety item should anything go wrong. So we're gonna use something cool here. Leon has invincibility frames whenever he does an action, you know, such as kicking open a door or jumping over, you know, a little barricade. You actually saw it twice there where the dynamite exploded as I jumped over, and I kicked the door right as the guy attacked me. So Leon has invincibility frames during that time. Can't be damaged, can't be grabbed, anything like that. And we abuse that a few times throughout the run to accomplish certain goals. So it's a nifty little trick of the game. Yeah, I also should note that I've been picking up these treasures. You've already seen me pick up 2 by shooting the stuff over the well. Sorry about the background noise. A lot of stuff going on outside, I guess. Anyways, I picked up 2 treasures already. We need 3, which we're going to be using to sell to the merchant coming up in order to buy a rocket launcher. I love this run for dealing with certain areas. We'll buy rocket launchers. Holy crap, what is going on outside? I'm so sorry about the background noise. Must be like a police chase or something. Alright. So, speaking of treasures, we'll pick up the 3rd one here. Yeah, shoot that little light to make it show up for us before we shoot it. I'm gonna sell all the treasure we picked up so far, and then we're gonna buy a rocket launcher, which we're gonna use later on. We're also gonna start stockpiling grenades and incendiary grenades and flash grenades for upcoming segments. So that's a big part too. Is we have like a path laid out, or kind of a route laid out of which items to pick up for certain areas later on in the game. So even if we don't see those items being used right now, they have enough use later on to save time that we'll hold them for a very long time. So like those incendiary grenades I'm picking up, we won't see them being used for like another 13 minutes or so, or another 3 chapters or 3 sub chapters from now. One big part of this run, if you haven't already been able to tell, is running past enemies, of course. Most enemies you could just run past like normal, as long as you're not trying to just full-on charge into them. You usually take like a path around them or whatever. But certain areas require different approaches in order to handle them. You know, things such as shooting a specific enemy in order to because there's no way to get past them, or just doing something stuff special. Like I said, it's impossible to point out like every single thing within the span of this run. I mean, I could probably make like a walkthrough of this game. It would be probably like at least 10 hours long, just talking about each individual area, just how enemies react to you, and there's a lot of depth to this game, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. Even if the movement itself is kind of stale, you know, it's not something like a Mario game or anything like that. It definitely makes up with its just its mechanics of how you deal with enemies, how you deal with bosses. There's just a lot of complex things going on under the surface that you don't see in an initial run. So here we're approaching the first boss. Like I said, this is called Del Lago. This guy is essentially the first gatekeeper of the run. I mentioned that there's a lot of RNG associated with the first 2 chapters. This guy is a very good example of it. The reason why this guy is such a problem is that he can dive at random times and start this cutscene, which he's not going right now. So that was the first time he could have dived to start this cutscene where he charges Leon, and you have to hit him a number of times to avoid being knocked off the boat. It takes a lot of time for him to start off that cutscene. Nice, we're actually getting the best. Wow, that was that's the first time I've ever seen that. Okay, normally he goes to your left there. I've actually never seen him go straight to your right. Well, anyways, that would have been a perfect Delago because he's not diving at all. Oh, now he is. And now you'll see that cutscene. I'll go ahead and just do that real quick. So now we have to wait for him to surface. You have to find him, of course, too. And then harpoons at him. So kind of a rough Delago. Another random element too is just kind of the surfacing too. Like 90% of the time he'll surface up on the opposite side of where you're moving your boat. So that kind of took me by surprise that he would be right there instead. In order to keep my inventory how I want it though, I'm gonna move that I moved that rifle box over just to ensure the grenades that I need are all in the right places. There is a lot of item management in this game, and a lot of time could be spent in your inventory as well, picking up what you need. So by keeping, you know, items exactly in the same spot every time, saves a little bit of time of having to think about where you need to move your cursor inside the inventory itself. Shoot these 3 boxes. So I'm switching to the rocket launcher for 2 reasons here. One reason, obviously, I'm going to be using it up, coming up a couple screens. Second reason is, sorry, I heard a noise. Second reason is your movement speed. Leon has 3 different movement speeds that aren't really very noticeable. First one is this animation that he's doing. This animation's done whenever he has a rocket launcher out, a grenade out, or if he doesn't have anything equipped. So like maybe a weapon that you discarded or you ran out of grenades. Second is your pistol, and your no, not your TMP, just your pistol, I think. And then third is your all your power weapon stuff. Those aren't really too important. The only one that is important is this animation because it's the fastest one. And when we start getting into using Ditmen later, much later in the run, you'll see me constantly switching to grenades and rocket launchers in order to ensure the fastest movement speed. So now we get to put this rocket launcher to use. And bye-bye. Pretty quick kill. I'm actually going to go ahead and grab an herb here. So there's a lot of, where are you? There you are. There's a lot of backup herbs I can pick up throughout this run. Despite, like I said, the village being really heavy on execution, it is really marathon safe. It's only very reset heavy when you're doing attempts for a competitive time because you don't want to have to waste time picking up these extra herbs to continue on. But as far as a marathon goes, wherein time isn't as important and it's more about consistency, there's no issues on that because there's plenty of stuff scattered to pick up and make sure that you're able to get through without any issues. A little puzzle here. Fortunately, the puzzles in Resident Evil 4 are not as convoluted as the previous games, so we can just rush through them pretty fast. Here we got another important gameplay mechanic being added to the game in form of Ashley. So, the main plot of this game is that we're going into this Spain-like rural country to rescue Ashley, who's the president's daughter, from this cult. So now our goal is to, at least according to Leon, is to escort her to this landing zone, or this extraction zone nearby, to get out of here. Little do we know that it's not going to happen. So the game turns into an escort mission during certain chapters. We can make her wait and follow to us at our call, but that's really the only action she has. We have to be protecting her throughout the run, make sure no Ganado try to grab her, no Ganado try to hurt her or anything like that. She's more of a liability than anything because it makes getting through certain areas a little bit more difficult than if you were just by yourself. But that's part of the game, so it's not a big deal. Oh, Ashley's gonna get hit here. So for example, like that, if Leon was by himself, he would have been able to make that that very tight corner or that little area without getting hit. So that's here's a good usage of the wait follow command, is to alert enemies to your presence before they actually see you. We do it while approaching that, actually I'm gonna wait for her just to be safe. We do it while approaching that thing right there to make that guy charge at us while the ladder's in the way, so Ashley can walk up unhindered. Alright, now we're approaching the cabin fight, which is kind of like the second big part of the village chapter. We're introduced to our good friend Luisera, which you can hear shooting in the background. So the goal of this fight is to kill 40 enemies. So we want to wait right there until the enemies grab Luis. So an interesting mechanic of this game is that anytime a player, like a character, is grabbed, whether it be Ashley or Luis or even Leon, all the other enemies will just stop reacting to whatever's going on and just kind of look at you. So we can abuse that by letting Luis get grabbed there and run into that corner to throw that grenade. And it just happened there again too. Luis got grabbed, and we were able to throw that third grenade without any issues because all the enemies were just kind of standing there. Otherwise they would have hit us. So here comes the second part of this fight. We're essentially just waiting to kill the rest of the enemies. We've already killed a good amount of them with the grenades that we've used. And what we like to do here is just pretty much, if we get any of these plaga spawns by shooting off the heads of some of these enemies, we want to keep them here as long as we can because Luis is actually doing more damage than us in killing enemies because he has a special weapon. So these two enemies, I just want to keep them on the ground pretty much and just let Luis keep killing enemies. They are either outside or in the cabin. Another reason why we use Luis in this way is because we don't have a lot of ammo to kill all these enemies. There we go. Now we got it. Kind of just in time too. We were just about to run out. Wait. We're kind of looking to kill, or to be out of both handgun and, come on Ashley, to be out of handgun and shotgun ammo by the end of this chapter, so it's okay that we don't have any because we'll pick up a lot more when we get into the next chapter. So this part, we don't have to kill this Gigante here that's chasing us like we did the other one. All we have to do is get through, grab this key that opens up the final area. And then by standing at a certain angle here, we can actually knife two of these chains instead of just one at a time. Just run through a little faster. Otherwise, the Gigante would catch up to us if we had to knife all three of them separately. And usually he'll just grab Ashley and Ashley will die. Alright, so this segment, we just have to go down this little railway lift system. I'm not sure what quite to call it, but pretty much there's a boss down there that has a key item for a door that we just passed that we have to kill. And it kind of shows our knowledge of the game too, and things that people generally don't know. Let's kill this guy. If we don't kill these guys on the left, they'll start jumping on the minecart like right here and start shaking it to the point that it will actually just fall over. And these other guys will start throwing projectiles at you too. So another important thing about inventory, you saw me combine all three herbs right there. Actually have my inventory, or all runners have their inventory set up in such a way that all three herbs will end up being right next to each other when picked up. So you can quickly combine them and then have the incendiary grenade right next to it that you need for this boss. So minor things that, like I said, you don't normally see in a run. Saving time in your inventory is a big part of this. And you could lose quite a lot of time just like having to move stuff around and whatnot. So we're coming up on Mendez, which is the final boss for chapter 2. This guy is a complete pushover though. So all we have to do is pretty much just use 4 of these incendiary grenades that we've been picking up. Don't want to throw it too fast. If we throw it too early, then he'll end up actually ignoring it. So he won't take damage if he's in a stagger status. So we have to just kind of hold off on throwing that grenade to make sure he's out of it first. But yeah, what was a pretty difficult boss casually within a very small area turns into a really trivial part of this run. Because for whatever reason, he takes a lot more damage from incendiary grenades than other enemies in the game. To the point that we only need 4 of them to kill him. And there's actually more than 4 throughout the first few chapters too. So I don't know if it was like a developer intended thing or whatnot, but it definitely helps us out in the speedrun itself. Alright, now we're just backtracking. This game is mostly linear, you know, compared to previous Resident Evils, of course. But there's a little bit of backtracking, you know, throughout certain areas, having to pick up certain key items. Another little bit of optimization too is whenever I need to switch weapons, but I know that there's a key item coming up, then you can combine those two into just one menu. So I switched the pistol there, which I need to shoot this truck here. And then I use the key item for the door itself at the same time, as opposed to doing them separately. So we all know that shooting the driver of a truck causes it to completely flip over for obvious reasons. But we'll take it. So that guy only takes 1 shot to kill. All you have to do is kind of hit him. Alright, and now we're on to the castle, actually. So we're going to be switching up the inventory quite a lot right here. Let's sell all of this. Whoa. What are you buying? Is that... Alright, so now we've switched up the inventory completely, pretty much. We sold our handgun and our shotgun, and we've bought the TMP, which is a submachine gun, and a semi-automatic rifle. So the rifle is a big part of this room because of its just sheer power. As you can see, the hair of that guy just died in one hit, despite being at the highest difficulty. So the semi-automatic can actually just one-shot pretty much every normal enemy in the game with a headshot, which we'll see quite a lot of inside the castle chapter. And the reason we pick up the TMP too is that the TMP is just fantastic for staggering enemies. It takes up less inventory space than the handgun, because ammo stacks in quantities of 100 as opposed to 50, and just shoots faster too. So you can definitely still do like a handgun in place of the TMP, but the TMP is so much faster for dealing with enemies. So there, I shot the guy at the start, so that way I can use that crank without any worries. Oh, that was fast. Then I used Ashley as kind of as bait for the Gonado that was chasing me, so they would pick her up instead of me. So kind of the important thing to know about Ashley too, that's like her second useful thing, is using her as bait for other enemies. In that area, everything gets despawned once you blow up that wall there. So we have no worries if she's being picked up at that point. So like I said, I'm explaining these things like a couple rooms later, just because like I said, there's so much stuff to explain this game, and just as I did with my the 2015 run. Oh my god, Ashley. Wait, did she get picked up here? That's weird. Oh, I think I told her to follow me by accident. She ran straight into those enemies. Normally we would leave her right here to keep the door open so we don't have to open it again. That was interesting. But yeah, like I said, you know, I'm explaining stuff like a couple rooms later, just because, like I said, there's so much stuff to explain. That's hard to fit it all in one run. Just as I did with my 2015 run, I'll actually have like a script kind of highlighting the more important aspects of the run, while leaving out things that people don't necessarily need to know, or are just less interesting to know. And I'll have a full couch of people to explain everything going on. So here we go, coming up on a mini boss, the Godador. The main mechanic of this guy is blind, but if we stand still, we can kind of abuse where he thinks we are. Ooh, that was very close. And we can kill him really fast. That's one of the faster methods to kill him. You can do methods where you just stand still, and he'll just keep moving his back to you. And we're gonna use Ashley here too. So there's two enemies that should be chasing me right here, but instead, when Ashley moves, they'll chase after her instead. So we can make them go after her and then just pick her up on the way over. So this is the water hall. This is another one of those areas that are heavily reset due to the random nature of it. What we have to do here, we have to take like a bunch of like trips to different parts of the water hall with Ashley as fast as we can, of course. And we have to kind of round up the enemies and try to protect her when we stand still in certain parts. So holding down those two causes this crank to come up right over here, which we're going to put Ashley on, and we're just going to protect Ashley. And then we're going to use this incendiary to keep them down as much as we can. And this should Yeah. So now comes the second part, is getting past these guys. And we should make this. Okay, good. This is such a very tight movement area, but pretty much what I did was by moving to the left of the crank, all the other enemies are gonna run to the left of it, and then I quickly switch over to the right side in order to just run past them to go up the stairs. I made that area look really simple, to be honest, but this is one of the hardest areas to learn in speedrun. It's something that just takes, you know, a ton of experience to figure out the movement of each enemy and how to react, you know, on a moment's notice to what's going on. So the second part, once we get to that cutscene of Ashley points out the cranks, we can actually we can reload the checkpoint to despawn all the enemies that were down there to make things a whole of a lot easier. And all we're doing right now is just protecting Ashley while picking up certain items. This is where the rifle really begins to shine because of just how strong it is. I didn't shoot this guy earlier. So since spending time like knifing enemies and stuff, we can just shoot him once. All we have to do is kill this guy. Okay, good. And that's all we have to do. So Ashley is free to do the cranks from here on out. We're gonna grab some stuff for areas coming up. I'll grab this money just be on the safe side. Normally we don't really have to grab a lot of enemy or a lot of money. What am I saying? A lot of enemies. But it can't hurt just to pick up some few extra every once in a while. So really decent start to the castle. So, you know, just like I said, the village is based on execution RNG. Castle is almost entirely RNG for a few enemies we're going to see in the next chapter, as well as this area too. So to get a good castle is definitely kind of it's a relief to be able to get through this without any major time losses. Even on my splits, I'm only a few seconds behind because of what happened with Ashley in that one part. So here we're gonna be introduced to the most annoying part of the speed run, or the most annoying enemy in the speed run. So these are bugs called no vista doors. The reason these ones aren't too bad, we see them in 3 different areas, but essentially they're very fast. They like to combo you without giving you a chance to heal. They'll push you down and just kind of ruin your movement that you have going on. They'll decapitate you. Later versions will just run straight through the walls and give no regards to, you know, the game's environment at all. But we can control them to a certain level with flash grenades and stuff, which I used right there. So that area that I just passed through is a little bit scary to get through, just because they can trap you in there and just keep comboing you. That's the reason why I used a flash grenade there. Some runners opt to just roll the dice and run through without picking up this extra flash grenade. And I've done that too. But for a marathon, you can just pick up the flash grenade and makes it a whole lot safer. Alright, so now we're moving into this next part. Also note that Ashley is not with us, which is really nice. So this area is going to be I should have actually noticed this a lot earlier too. But This area kind of notes a key difference between playing 30 FPS and 60 FPS. So the strat for 30 FPS is we have to kill this red zealot that's right there that holds the key to the next area. Normally we would throw an incendiary grenade at him to keep him locked in place while we kill him. But for whatever reason that doesn't work on 60 FPS, so we just have to kill him normally. It's not much of a time difference per se, but important difference in how 30 versus 60 FPS works. There was also an out of bounds that I could have done. Wow, dude. Oh wow, I'm gonna get hit. There's also an out of bounds I could have done much earlier on, but 60 FPS has like a higher, I guess, like hit detection or something like that. I don't know the technical term for it, but those out of bounds that would work on 30 FPS just push you back inbounds in 60 FPS. There's still plenty of out of bounds that we do in 60 FPS, which will be showing off, but specific ones we have to let go because of the frame rate. Ooh, this is always kind of a scary room because you never know what's going to happen on the other side of that door. I probably could have just ran through, but I was actually expecting them to be right in front of the door, to be honest. So one thing that makes this game super marathon safe is that anytime you die or just reload a checkpoint, you just show up right like at the start of the area itself. So there's nothing that will like, oh my god, come on, let's go. This is a really rough area. There's nothing that will like kill a run short of like a game crash, pretty much. This is a really rough room, I guess. Normally this room's a lot simpler to deal with, but there is a lot of RNG in this game too. Like not necessarily kill a run, but just make you lose a lot of time for no necessary reason. Regardless, like, I'll have my estimate for this game. It's gonna sit about 1 hour and 40 minutes, which is a really generous estimate, as usually most of my runs fall within the 136 range if things go bad. So this is always my favorite area to talk about, just because it was the scariest area for me to play through when I was a kid and got this game. And then in the speed run, it's just completely trivial because the dogs that chase you can't do anything as long as you're just constantly moving and not running right at them. So all we have to do is just run through, grab the key items, and just leave. So it turns kind of a spooky close quarters area into a really simple room to deal with, given all the other stuff we've been going through in this chapter. So item number 1 and item number 2. So you hear the dogs right behind me, but like I said, they can't actually catch up to me. They just constantly run at like almost the same speed as you. And they won't attack you unless you just stop moving completely. Hello? It's weird. My items are sometimes you go a little bit too fast in the menu when I use a key item without actually switching to the weapon I need coming up. So we gotta shoot this little thing. It's kind of hard to do with the TMP just because it has a really high recoil. Pick this up. Then we get trapped in this cage. And another good part of the TMP is that we can shoot this very fast. Get it off. Get out of here. So kind of a tense moment being stuck in this tiny little room with the Gladiator, but we don't need to fight any of them. We actually won't even come back to that room at all. All we have to do is grab the treasure, pull a real Indiana Jones, and just leave. Ooh, are these guys gonna stay at the door? Oh, nope. That was really bad luck. So either, most of the time, they'll do one or two things. They'll stand at the door, and wait for you to approach it, so you can just kick it and just run through. Or they'll just open the door and run at you, which then you'll shoot the little lamp there. Rare is it that they'll actually just wait at the door until you get close and then just charge through it, so you have no way to get past them. So like I said, a lot of RNG in this game. A lot of the run is just being able to react to stuff quickly enough. There was a chance there I could have got through those two guys without taking any damage, but kind of I'm a little bit tired, so I'm not on my A game right now. Well, thanks to Bloodborne coming out on PlayStation Plus. Alright, cool. So by shooting down that red zealot right there, we do enough damage to him to let that grenade kill him. And pretty much we have to throw that grenade at a specific angle and wait like a brief second to throw it to kill all the enemies at once. If we didn't kill all the enemies at once, then there's a second wave that would spawn on the other side of the room, which we'd have to waste, you know, precious rifle ammo on, and obviously lose time as well. So you can now see we're controlling Ashley instead of Leon. So this is the one part of the game that we actually get to control Ashley to go through this like puzzle area while avoiding enemies. She doesn't have any combat abilities. The only thing that she can do is throw like designated lamps throughout the area and set the Ganado on fire. But we can just run past them because they're super slow. Hello? Guess we're not pushing the button. So here we're going to be introduced actually to the armaduras. They're these suits of armor that have plagas in them. Obviously we can't do anything against them with Ashley herself, but we'll actually fight a few of them pretty shortly actually. Okay, so we're almost done with this Ashley segment. Like I said, it's really straightforward. There's nothing much to talk about here. This would be like there's plenty of opportunities for like donations throughout this run too. So it's not just going to be me constantly blathering on about, you know, what the wall textures look like or just boring stuff like that. Alright, that concludes chapter 3. Now we're on to chapter 4, which is the second part of the castle. The specific chapter we're in right now is 4-1, which is the longest chapter in the game. There's a lot that can go wrong in this chapter. There's a lot. This is probably another one of those highly reset chapters too. Given certain rooms we have to go through and the amount of good luck that we need to get through without losing a whole lot of time. So, you might be noticing the ridiculousness of this room. It's one of those rooms that whenever I get to this in a marathon or just even on my own stream, like people want to point out how the heck is there a freaking volcano room inside this castle with like lava everywhere. I don't know. I didn't design this game. I don't know what reasoning was there was for this room, but it's actually really easy. These statues can be knocked down with 2 rifle shots to the chains that hold them up, a fact that a lot of people don't know. Another way to get rid of them is you can shoot the guy that's on the statue behind the dragon head, and that will instantly drop it into the lava as well. The normal method people use is just trying to shoot it as many times as they can to destroy it. So there's a lot of stuff that Shinji Mikami put in this game to, you know, make it a whole of a heck lot easier for those paying attention. A lot of cool little tricks like that we exploit throughout the speedrun too. So kind of like for people who've never seen the speedrun of this game, they end up learning a lot about the game itself too, just for even casual playthroughs. So we're back at the start of the castle now, with these 3 key items we've been picking up to get through that door. That door itself is actually a really huge obstacle for the speedrun community itself. We believe there's a way to glitch through that door, and if there's a way to glitch through that door, we'll be saving probably about 15 to 20 minutes on this run. So it's a pretty significant time save, because we would skip almost the entire, like the hard parts in chapter 3- the long parts in 3-1, and go right into 4-1. So it's a pretty big deal. But we cannot find a way to get through that door consistently, or at all, pretty much. We do have a few bounties in this game, glitches we found out. I'll probably actually point those out during the run itself for a little bit of exposure, should this get into SGDQ. It's one of those long sought after glitches that we have not been able to crack yet. So a lot of stuff been going on while I've been talking about the Pyro Wall. We have these 2 grails that we need to pick up by going to these 2 side rooms. So we just had a basic tile puzzle here, and then we had to shoot those other 2 guys on top of that contraption. I don't know what to call that either. But they only take 1 hit to kill, so we just use the TMP to quickly knock them off. So now we actually get to fight these armadillos that we just saw with Leon. Fortunately, they're really easy to deal with because the power of this rifle. And one kind of interesting mechanic about the plagas itself, anytime there's like a plagas is exposed in this game, using a flash grenade will instantly kill them, with the exception of like bosses and stuff. So these plagas normally would take like a ton of hits to kill after we knock these helmets off. But we can just use a flash grenade to instantly kill them all at once after using 3 rifle shots. So that room is generally actually pretty difficult to do on a casual setting. But like I said, just given our knowledge of the game itself, we can get through a lot of these rooms with relative ease. So this room, I want to get all these guys to run. Oh, whoa, that was close actually. I want to get all those guys to run to the side that I was on, and then quickly switch to the other side to run past them. Waited a little bit too long there though. Almost got hit. But that's the general idea. Alright, here we lose Ashley, but we deal with Novistadors Part 2. Pretty much we call every room with these Novistadors a certain layer of hell, given that every time we encounter them, there's there's a very high chance of resetting. So here's an example of why they're so bad. They're all right in front of me at this point. Okay, I got lucky there with a kick showing up. So there is a QTE that they can sometimes do. Oh my god. Oh, this is rough. Okay. That was really scary. So I'm just gonna go ahead and buy a first aid spray here. There's not a lot you can do. The reason why they're so scary is because of because the ones that are in the air, they only get pushed back by the flash grenades that you throw at them. They don't get knocked down or anything like that. So you're just buying yourself pretty much like a second before they rush in back at you. And if you ever need to stop to like shoot stuff like I did there, it gets really, really, really dangerous. So fortunately we got through there without dying. Like I said, it's a really difficult area to get through anytime you have to circle back. And we don't just call it like a layer of hell for no reason or like a joke or anything. It's literally the Novistadors are one of the most frustrating parts of the run, and countless runs have been lost to every single room that we show up with them in it. So let's pick up some extra heals now that I don't have anything. I shouldn't need, if I get through this area, I shouldn't need any other heals until we start finding a whole bunch of them. This area could be a little bit tricky with the archers in them. Like that. Exactly like that. They really like, I like to think that they're like homing archers or something, because they hit you with some really strange arrows that you would think don't hit you. Okay, we're good. I shoot this. A little bit late, but whatever. Run past this guy. Wow. Hold on, I may actually have to reset this room. Let me see if I get an herb right here. No. Let's try this. It's gonna be a little bit risky. Yeah, it's gonna be really bad. I should have just reset that room. But the hardest part about this is that when you're moving slowly, nice. When you're moving slowly, then you lose a lot of movement speed. So certain parts that we have to get past. Okay, that's good. I still have enough rifle ammo to get through this. We get rid of our rifle right here, so it's not too big of a deal. Oh crap. I am not doing good in this chapter now. So like I said, very hard chapter. There we go. So the rocket launcher there instantly kills the Galador that's on the right. And for whatever reason, the one on the left takes an extra shot. So even if you shoot him directly with the rocket launcher, he just doesn't die and the other guy does. So get rid of this here, and we'll pick up a very important item here. So we're going to change up inventory. We're going to sell this rifle.
What are you buying?
Rocket launcher. Alright, so now the run really changes up a lot. So what we just picked up is the Striker, which is a shotgun. So what you may notice that Leon's moving a whole lot faster now. The reason for that, let's actually fix my ammo. I should have sold that Magnum ammo. It's whatever, I'll do it later. The reason for that is this glitch called Dipman. So what this glitch does is if you pull out the striker, there's like this brief second that Leon takes to actually fully raise it up and be able to shoot. If you switch to a different weapon during that time, like before you fully raise it up, you get this massive increase in movement speed. There's no real explanation for it. I like to think that when you're raising the weapon up, the developers like put that in so that way like it has to do with just the speed that you raise the weapon up or something. But whatever the reason is, it's amazing for speedruns. It makes the whole second half of this game a lot quicker than the first half. And we pretty much abuse it nonstop. Like, if there's a reason to use it in an area, we're gonna do it. So that was Verdugo. Oh, by the way, that's a boss. I want to grab this and use it. Okay, that was a boss, by the way. There's two ways to approach Verdugo. You can fight him, which most people casually will not do be able to do because he has the highest health of any enemy in the game. They'll wait him out, which takes like about 3.5 minutes to do so. I'm gonna sell this magnum ammo that I should have done.
What are you buying?
Or you could use a rocket launcher to just instantly kill them while frozen, which is exactly what we did there. So another kind of difficult fight casually turned super trivial in a speedrun. So instead of doing this whole segment where we have to pick up, oh no, I don't want that. Where we have to pick up this dynamite to blow up that boulder, we'll just go ahead and straight up, did I pick up that herb? Yeah, I did. We'll just go ahead and just blow the boulder up with a rocket launcher that we buy and just run past it. So here we got the first out of bounds that we're still able to do on 60 FPS. Normally you have to fight two of the Gigantes in order to pass through this door that's going to shut on the side. But by using Dipman and this little pulley system, you move a lot faster than the game intends you to do. So it just throws you out of bounds instead of the area that you're supposed to stop. So nice little thing to do there. Just fix up my inventory a little bit. And here we got the third layer of hell, which you can quite tell there's no Visitors. You can hear them. This is probably the scariest one in my opinion. So like I said, they just ignore the environment completely here. They can show up through the walls. They can ooh, that was close. They can just pretty much do whatever they want here to screw you over. We use the flash grenades because we have to go through these little bottlenecks while hitting these switches. And if a lot of them show up, you can't run through without any issues. I think we're going to get through this without any problems right now. So by shooting all 4 of them down and quickly moving, I'm able to get through that. Ooh, what the hell? Never seen a guy right there, but it's strange. So I'm moving my camera away from actually looking at the Novistadors, which is why I ran straight into that guy without seeing him. Because if the camera is facing them, then they'll often do this, they'll have that kick command show up, which is desirable in some situations if you're being swarmed and you just need to be able to get them out of the way. But if you're just trying to run past them, then you don't want that command to show up because then they'll push you down, you'll lose your Ditman speed, and generally you'll just get comboed to death. So we move our camera away so that way they don't do that command and they just do their standard attack instead. So another little thing that you would never know about this game. Using the third-person camera in order to get through an area without being attacked. So I want this out. So here we got this little area. So this area we want to maximize our Ditman as much as we can. So we're gonna be throwing this grenade, which I may have actually messed that up. I'll go ahead and equip that just in case. Yeah, I missed the door. Usually it blows up the door, but not bad. So I had to reload right here because I used all that ammo. We'll find some treasures. So I still have my Ditman speed. So it's important to note that a lot of things do stop your movement speed increase, taking damage, doing any kind of command like going through a door, using items. So it's not like it's a permanent thing. So generally we'll do whatever we can to maintain that speed. But before that, let's talk about this glitch. All right. So this is called Minecart Skip. So what this area is this really lengthy auto-scroller segment that you have to ride this minecart throughout this entire like rails system while fighting off enemies and hitting levers and all this stuff. So last year, I think it was last year. I can't tell if it was last year or 2016. I think it was last year. This random viewer just for one of our runners just found this way to get through this segment by glitching out of bounds. So by approaching that minecart on the rightmost side of it, jumping down while holding up left just pushes us out of bounds on 60 FPS and just lets us run through this. Now, that glitch itself is exclusive to 60 FPS. However, then later that year, someone found another setup in which you ride the minecart for about like 15 seconds or so. And as it's approaching this turn, you jump out at a certain angle and it forces you out of the minecart and you're able just to run through just like I just did. And that glitch can be done on every single version in the game, regardless of frame rate, like anywhere from the GameCube version to this version. So it's a pretty significant time save. It's like a minute and a half or so on this version because you have the Ditman to run through. Plus it's a huge headache having to go through an auto scroller and a speed run too. Yeah, it's pretty big, pretty much. So this part I'm just you can see how useful the TMP is, just being able to quickly shoot enemies and then run past them. And we're just going through really fast. Ooh, that's a guy that shouldn't be there. I'll just let this scene speak for itself. I'll say it is very out of place given the game, but people can derive their own conclusions on why a giant stone mecha chases you. So this is the final chapter for the castle portion. We have to ascend this huge tower with this elevator right here. Get up here. We'll activate after pushing those two down. Nothing good there. Shoot these two archers who die in one hit. And then here comes the next part of this, is we have these enemies jumping down on us, as you can see there. So anytime there's two enemies on here, the elevator stops until they're dead or they're off. So what we want to do is constantly shoot them off, and have them fly through the middle parts of this elevator, these little openings there, so that way the elevator is constantly going up. So by aiming down at this specific angle, crap, that's not supposed to happen. Alright, we're still good. Usually there's a set order for how they jump down, but at the end it can get a little bit mixed up. But another segment you can kind of lose a lot of time on. It's not hard to get through, but it's very easily, you could lose 45 seconds to a minute on if that elevator gets stuck because you didn't shoot off an enemy correctly. So fortunately I made pretty quick work of it. It's not hard to do with enough practice, but it's still just kind of thing that could happen. Alright, so I'm gonna sell a bunch of stuff here. We're gonna buy another rocket launcher. We're gonna call the stranger. Alright. So this is a Salazar. So he's a little dude that been chasing throughout the castle. Oh my goodness. I'm actually gonna reset that. That's a lot of missed shots. There we go. We're just gonna use the rocket launcher to quickly kill him without worrying about any of his mechanics generally. So another kind of big difference between 30 and 60 FPS. 60 FPS you have to kill him. 30 FPS you can actually float on air by jumping down at a certain spot in a certain angle to just completely run straight through him. Kind of a cooler way to deal with the boss, but like I said, we're not able to do that on this version, or on 60 FPS at least. But even though like there's a lot of these glitches we can't do on 60 FPS, the overall time save, whoa, that was loud. The overall time save for 60 is a lot more, just because of just how fast it loads screens, how fast you shoot compared to 30 FPS. Plus the Minecart Skip is a little bit faster too. Alright, so now we're on to the final environment of the game, which is the island chapter. So now the game just decides to turn away from horror and just go straight into like military shooter almost. A lot of these enemies have like miniguns and stuff to hit you with. So this puzzle, so this is another kind of, like I said, difference between 30 and 60. Normally you can skip this whole part by going out of bounds, but in 60 we cannot do this. So we have to do this whole puzzle. You can save a little bit of time by setting up that that mirror to the angle that we need it to at. The game intends for you to go to this one first and point the mirror at this one and then go back to the other one. I'm gonna actually reload checkpoint so no enemies hit me. So yeah, I did the mirrors out of order, but by knowing the exact angle to position that first mirror, we could just do it on the way instead of waiting until later. The reason why I reloaded the checkpoint there is that there's a good chance that there would be enemies as soon as I jump down in that spot to hit me. So rather than take that risk, I'll just I'd rather just reload checkpoint, cause them to disappear. Alright, so yeah, we're using the Ditmen quite a lot, like I said. Any possible area that we can. Now we're just running through. And then we got the biggest jump scare of the game. Woo! Spooky. So the goal of this, plot-wise, is to rescue Ashley, who was taken prisoner a lot earlier on. So this part, normally you have to kill all these enemies to get through, but using this dipment speed, you get, come on, let's go. You're moving a lot faster than the game intends you to, so you're able to actually make it through that shutter that is supposed to be closing every time you approach it, but stays open while that dynamite gets thrown. So we're able just to run through without killing, you know, the 2 waves of enemies that spawn there normally. Ding ding. Hard puzzle, I know. Hello? Where's the item? That was weird. Alright, so now we got the Regenerator. So this is where probably the spookiest enemies in the game pretty much are these huge bullet sponges. That they just keep regenerating their limbs constantly. They're really hard to deal with casually. The game intends for you to kill them by buying a thermal scope for your rifle and shoot like these specific spots on them that stop him from regenerating all his limbs over and over. But in the speedrun, they're ridiculously easy to deal with. You just run past them, that's all. Do this. So it's kind of a tight spot to run through. So I just use a TMP to be safe, to make sure that guy with the flail doesn't hit me. You can get past him a lot of times, but there's just a lot of risky movement. That is optimal, but still very risky. So here's the only Regenerator that we actually have to kill, called the Iron Maiden. It's a stronger version of the Regenerator. So we just use a rocket launcher to kill him. Grab this key item that he has. To run through here. Throw this flash grenade so these archers can't hit me. And then we're gonna save Ashley. Let me get her back. Yay! So we actually get to use Ashley in a pretty unique way in this chapter to make a room significantly easier. It's not this room, by the way. It looks like Ashley got stuck. So anytime Ashley's next to an enemy, she'll freak out. And just sit still until either the enemies are dead or Leon comes next to her. We can actually leave her alone here because going over that like certain area in that room causes the next room to load, as opposed to having to use a door, which would normally say, you know, we can't leave Ashley behind. So it doesn't matter if Ashley is with us or she's being picked off and carried somewhere. The room will just spawn no matter what. So running past Iron Maidens again, don't have to deal with them at all. Just bait out their attack and run by. Here's a kind of interesting glitch that we're gonna do that involves Ashley. So what we're gonna do here is we're currently in a empty status, which means we used all our grenades. But the game still thinks that we can possibly shoot because of just the state that Leon's on. So what I'm doing right now is I'm holding the right trigger after making holding my knife at Ashley, which causes her to stay stuck in that that crouch spot. The reason why we do that is that these enemies don't even know that Ashley's there, but they'll notice Leon right away. So we make Leon run all the way over here to while he's out of sight, and then have Ashley follow us later on, so we just go to this room without any enemies looking at us. And of course they notice us last second, which doesn't matter at that point. So kind of a cool abuse of mechanics. It only works on PC. The reason why is because we have to remap some of the buttons. If you try to use that lever there that I did, it would activate this cutscene when Ashley jumps down. So we have to remap a second button to the use command in order to get past that. So we can't do that on like any other console versions. Oh, I'm beginning to lose my voice a little bit. I still have to do my new merchant submission after this too. Fortunately, we're almost at the end. We're really close at this point. So we have this auto scroller now we have to deal with. Pretty easy part. It's just shooting off enemies and stuff. I'm actually gonna take a little break here from talking so my voice stops dying. So just like enjoy it for what it is. Turn my sensitivity down a little bit so this outdoor noise stops getting picked up. So we don't have to kill these enemies, we just have to keep them off the truck. This truck we have to kill though. 4 hits. Wow, normally you don't get 2 enemies dropping down, maybe just 1. That guy doesn't know what he's doing. Wow, he actually cheats me that far? That's the first. That's okay. As long as he's out there before that that door shuts, then we're okay. So here we gotta hit these levers. We're just gonna abuse the enemy movement a little bit. That guy, and then just run past all of them. So definitely moving much faster than game intends you to do. Like even the Gondor can't react to it. Leon has a superhuman strength, such that when you hit someone with a knife, they just get sent flying. I want to know what his workout is. So we're almost done with this auto scroller. Like I said, it's a really slow segment. Just have to keep shooting enemies off. And by knowing where the enemies are at, then you can easily get through this without any issues. The only thing that can kind of bad happen here is these guys can turn into Plagas, which I don't want them on the truck at the end if they do, just because they can actually kill me. Turn around, shoot this. So if they were on the truck with me right now, I'm still vulnerable. And they could just run up and kill me when I don't have control of my character, which is a really bad way to end a run or that lengthy auto-scroller.
What are you buying?
And a rocket launcher.
Come back anytime.
Alright, now we're on to 5-3, which is your boss rush chapter pretty much. This is personally my favorite chapter of the game, though. A lot more fun than the other ones, in my opinion. Plus, Tane's my favorite boss fight in this game, too. This part, so here we go, it's just this, we got this lengthy QTE that we have to go through. There's no way to skip it. We have a knife fight with Krauser, another one of the game's villains. Viewers love this part because the whole America thing that we did 3 years ago. I don't know if we'll do anything again.
Comrade. Krauser.
I usually do something on my stream where I'll throw on an America hat, glasses, and
You're the one who
start playing the Star Spangled Banner sometimes.
As expected. After all, you and I both know where we come from.
But it's more of a silly thing than a political statement or anything like that. So the QTEs in this part, there's only 2 QTEs that could ever show up throughout the entire game. So if we just spam both, then we'll get them guaranteed. Like you, I'm American. Chat loves that line. Spams their America flags and
got her involved just for that?
all that good stuff. All for Umbrella's sake.
All for Umbrella's sake.
Umbrella.
Almost
Let slip.
Enough
No talk.
Die,
Die,
comrade.
Ada.
Ada! Well, if it isn't the bitch in the red dress.
Looks like we have the upper hand here.
Browser, please. This is a PG stream.
You may be able to prolong your life, but it's not like you can escape your inevitable death, is it?
So, lots of plot. First time Umbrella's mentioned too, I think, by one of the characters.
You knew each
So when it came out at the time, it's like, oh my gosh. Connections to Umbrella.
Maybe some other time.
Alright, well, enough talk. Let's move on. So here we can run through these lasers if we just run straight while having a grenade out. Normally you can skip through these lasers on 30 FPS. For whatever reason, switching weapons gives you like a few frames of invincibility while they pass through you. But 60 doesn't work, so we just have to go through it normally. And by turning around and hitting the switch a second time, it makes the lasers show up a lot faster. So instead of having to run at them, then you can just hit the button and get the QTE right away. So we're coming up on the first boss of this chapter. Well, second boss if you consider that QT boss itself. But this is U3. It's this like lengthy like chase sequence through this box. We're gonna do this. We're just gonna run through while hitting these buttons while he chases us. We got lucky in that he jumped up. Hopefully he jumps down. Okay. What we want there to happen is we want him to jump up and then jump down again in a different area, because having to dodge his attack there ruins our movement speed and just a little bit. So we'll shoot him twice this time though, which causes him to jump into the ceiling. That means he should jump down. No, he's not being. Oh yeah, yes, there he goes. And they're just gonna run past him while he's in his attack. So pretty good luck there. And we can throw this grenade here through that wall for whatever reason. Just ignores it completely. It hits this button that normally you would have to hit this button, run over to the other side, and then shoot the button through this grate over there. You just use the explosion to do that ourselves without having to go through it twice. Let me just use a rocket launcher and 2 knives. So pretty easy fight. Like I said, rocket launchers are super powerful in this run. We're gonna grab his lunch money because we're gonna be buying some new weapons coming up. Do our final merchant. Okay, I should have enough money for everything, it looks like. That's not my favorite boss fight, by the way. It may look like it, but the upcoming fight is actually my favorite. So hopefully I have enough money here. I should have enough money. Picked up a lot of extra money just to be on the safe side. I'm gonna sell TNT, Emerald. I'm actually down a little bit of money.
What are you selling?
Let's do this. Okay, that should be it.
Not enough.
I'm down by 40. Wow, that's actually a first.
Is that all? What are you buying?
I must have just missed some money or something like at some point. Actually, no. What happened was the first aid spray that I bought earlier on messed up how much money I had. That's 5,000 right there. But fortunately, I'm able to just sell a little bit extra. I mean, the worst case scenario is that I don't buy the rocket launcher right there, because I don't need it until much later on. And just buy the Killer 7 for this fight. So, okay, now we're on to the second boss fight of this chapter. This is a Krauser. 1-on-1, mono and mono. The thing about this guy is that he's very weak to knife. Like it staggers him all the time, and we're gonna abuse that in certain areas coming up. I'm gonna reload the checkpoint. The reason why is because otherwise he'll show up at this little ledge up here. And generally his attacks will kill you because they're so fast. But if you reload the checkpoint, then he ends up just chasing you 100% of the time. Oh, that was bad. So I'm just gonna do this. And then I'm gonna knife him. What should have happened there? It really isn't too big of a deal, to be honest. Is I should have shot him in the head, backed up immediately, and then let him charge me with. Oh, I'm not gonna get it. Just barely missed it. Let him charge me, and then shoot him a second time in the head to trigger this statue showing up. It's a really tight movement that it's not too hard to get with practice, but if you miss that first shot, then you're not gonna get it. So I just opted for a second strat that doesn't lose that much time. Now we're running past these robots that don't show up any other part of the game. Only this fight without any introduction. And here we get to really abuse the knife mechanics on Krauser.
Prepare for your death, Leon.
So we're gonna run past him, get him to do this attack, let him jump twice over here, and then just knife him while he's in this corner. Oh, that's not good. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we want to get him in this like kind of stagger pattern. If you miss it, then I mean it'll take a little bit more time. The biggest worry there is letting him get one of his attacks off, which will pretty much instantly kill you every time. So we don't want that to happen. Nice. So I have plenty of herbs because we're gonna need them in this chapter. So this is 5-4. This is kind of like the real final boss of this game. It's not an actual boss, but rather just the area itself is so hectic. There's so many projectiles being thrown at you from every angle that it's very easy to just die. You're gonna take damage, like, no matter what, so most you can do is just grab as much ammo, as many herbs as you can leading up to it, and just push your way through as fast as you can. There's a lot of timing in this game that I'm not talking about. Like, if you're slow in any of these parts, then you're gonna have a really bad time because enemies will just catch up to you, and you'll just kind of get trapped, like being hit by enemies over and over. So like going fast, obviously it's nice to go fast to save time, but it also makes rooms a whole lot easier to deal with. Oh, that guy didn't hit. I was hoping the minigun would hit that dynamite guy. Oh, it sounds like he just got it. Oh no, man. That's okay, I'll just use the striker to hit him. Oh, I'm trying to equip this. So use the magnum to kill these two guys so they can't hit us while we run through this. And reload, just be on the safe side. So hopefully Mike starts shooting this. Doesn't sound like he is. Mike is the guy in the elevator, in the helicopter. He can shoot either one of these two towers down if you haven't reloaded the checkpoint. Our goal is to have him shoot this one down, so you just jump down right there. Ooh, ooh, what? Okay, I guess I'm dying. So you can see just how much time dying sets you back. Oh, I'm not at full health. Wow, see, you can tell, just barely being just a sliver less than full health caused that guy to one-shot me from green HP. So, oh dude, this is not good. This is not good at all. So this is not the hardest chapter without reason. Just anything can kind of go wrong and just make this absolute hell for you. Especially, just 5 minutes before the end of the game, having to run die to this chapter is not a great feeling at all. There's also a chance that we could get a crash too while leaving this area, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Also, another thing is reloading the checkpoint makes Mike despawn, so he won't be shooting down anything now for us. But the good thing is a lot of these enemies do disappear. Okay, good. We didn't get a crash. So yeah, very difficult area. The first part went really well, but the second part, just that one hit. 2 minutes lost for that one hit, almost. And that's really the hardest part about running this game, is that you can be just one area can just set you so far back, despite how consistent you are at everything else. All it takes is just one bad placed enemy, one hit that you shouldn't have been taking, and you know you lost the run. So like my personal best is 5 minutes off world record. World record is 129. I have 134. That's 3 areas, pretty much, that I would have to reset to lose that much time. So it's a really difficult speed game. It's really rewarding to get through, you know, with good luck all around. This guy, oh, good, got that guy. So normally that guy's supposed to run at you, but he decided to just take his own path through the game, or through this area. Trying to get through this. Could still get a sub 140 despite everything bad that kind of happened in this run. Sub 140 is a pretty good estimate. Like I said, like a lot of these areas I would not even be talking, because it just requires a lot of concentration, and then talking at the same time too just kind of hurts. Hurts me in that regard. So pretty good that I'm still getting, you know, a pretty decent time in, all things considered.
Wait, follow.
Right now we're on the last chapter, which is really short. We just have to kill a boss and then escape. Fortunately, the boss is really easy to kill. Make sure I had enough ammo. Like I said, I would buy a rocket launcher here too if for whatever reason I didn't have the money for one. Hello.
Wait.
So I could do that though. I can miss this shot completely. There we go. That's what it's supposed to happen. So we shoot the we shoot that eye, and then we shoot, or on his like leg thing, and then we shoot his main eye, and then we shoot a rocket launcher at it, and then we shoot the special rocket launcher at it, which kills him instantly. So really simple fight. Killer 7 has the strongest base power, I believe, of any weapon just bought straight out of a shop. So of course we're gonna use that for Bowser in this fight. But yeah, you know, this has been Resident Evil 4, a new game professional. Super popular, you know, game to watch. Had a lot of fun doing this, you know, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago at 2018. Here's a fun little glitch people love to see too.
Hang on, sweetheart.
Bye, Felicia. So that's another. That's using the Ditman glitch. They move faster than the game intends. Throw. Leon gets on the jet ski and takes off without the jet ski. But yeah, I really hope this run gets considered. I'm going to be submitting this alongside a New Game No Merchant, which is a little bit longer run, but just another interesting one. I think it would definitely serve well as a bid war between the two if scheduling allows that kind of time. Donation incentives conclude the doing that glitch that I just did, as well as the costumes you can pick. And if we're doing the whole kill the animals thing, there's a dog at the start of the game that we could definitely put into to bring in a little bit more money. So if it's definitely, you know, some money that could be made from adding different incentives. But yeah, that was Resident Evil 4 New Game Professional Mode. Hope at the very least you enjoyed, you know, watching it. Well, commentary will be a little bit better in a marathon setting.
And again, is that you?
But I did my best to explain much as I can. That makes this run interesting. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you consider this run for SGDQ, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks. And there's a sub 140. I want to point that out. All right, thanks for watching.